Room. Today is Tuesday, and the great comic book reset has begun. It's an exciting day, as all days are. I have a little chalkboard in my garage, and after I finished gardening this morning, I wrote a little note to myself on there. Forecast for today, great, with a chance of awesome. And that's how I want to approach each and every day. Is I don't know what's going to happen. It might work out badly, but whatever it's going to work out, you're better off having a good attitude and enjoying yourself. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I decided I was going to make a video, and while we are playing, I am going to find said video. So then there'll be one person watching. It'll be me in the chat, and I won't be talking to myself, but that's okay. It's just an impromptu. I have been talking for a while. My daughter Haley, Haley Quinn. If you haven't met her in real life, that looks just like her right there. Haley Quinn is working for me now officially. She is earning money, and she is proving to be a monster in a good way. She is killing it. Hey, Mr. Garrell's in here. How you doing, Mr. Garrell? Thanks for jumping in. I've been talking for a while about changing things up. I've taken over 2 additional rooms. So I have this room that we all know and love. Those of you who've been here, it's a fun room to hang out in. But I have 2 other rooms. One's an adjoining room that's straight through that wall. If I blew out that wall with the comics on it, I've got another room slightly smaller than this one. And then across on the other side, behind me, I have another room that's the same size as that room. And I decided what was going on is there's no way I can fit all the comics into this one room. I've got over 100 boxes in here. I think we figured up the last night. Haley and I were counting boxes, just trying to get an idea, and I think there are 104 long boxes in here, or there's 90 long boxes. I forget the count on it, but then I have like 15 short boxes that are in here, and that doesn't count what's up on the walls or what's just stacked around on shelves. So there's a lot of books in here, and I have some space left in some of these boxes, but I'm running quickly out of space. And so what I decided is I got to do a couple of prongs and attack this thing. And so what I started doing with the letter A, okay, starting with Action Comics, is yeah, you got to purge or organize better. So here's what I'm doing though, Mr. Garrell, is I'm going through this entire room is going to be, I'm going to put mostly, this room is going to be all DC and Marvel. Now, there's going to be a few exceptions to that. The wall, books on the wall will not count. I can have anything on the wall. So I can't imagine ever getting rid of Lone Ranger #1. I just love that book. I can't imagine getting rid of a few things in here. I happen to have this Jackie Robinson #4, which is kind of a ghost, getting that in great condition. But there's a few books that are going to be in here on the walls that are going to be, other brands, other independents. And but I'm going through with a long box. I'm going through, starting with Action. Behind me over there, that's going to be my independent room. An independent room is going to include Image Comics, who I don't consider Image Comics to be independent anymore. Really, they have a lot of exploratory titles. So in that, in that regard, they're independent. But I consider them to be, part of the big 3, and but they're getting relegated to room #2. And hey, nice to see you, Linkovich. Thank you so much. So Image Comics, Dell, Gold Key, Archie Comics, Walt Disney Comics, Vertigo, uh, um, Dark, can't think of it, Dark Horse, all that stuff is going to slave labor graphics. Okay, my milk and cheese, they are going to stay on the wall. But slave labor graphics, all the independent titles are going to go into the next room. And the troubling one on there is when I see ACG. There's a few of the old titles that I really want to keep in this room, but comes down to space. So all of that stuff is going into that back room, and those are all going to be organized and numbered. However, there are going to be separate boxes for Gold Key. There's going to be separate boxes for Dell, separate boxes for Image, separate boxes for Vertigo, and everybody else. Any independent is going to be stored with the independents. And in this room, hey, nice to see a movie world. In this room, I do have quite a bit of Dell comics, and I have quite a bit of, I have a really nice Richie Rich collection. I have, a handful of things, Archie, that are in this room, and those are going to go away, which will create more space in this room. And you can't see it, but what I am facing, I have all my Golden Age and magazine size things, and those take up space. If you've taken your anti-nausea medicine, with the iPad here. Behind this row, I'm going to try to do it. Behind this row here, I have magazine size, and I have, these are all Golden Age things in here that fit. Or sometimes they're not Golden Age, but they're Golden Age size comics. Okay, they don't necessarily fit. And then I was going to show this too. I have like some classic illustrateds here. I have some old Archies here, Dell. Oh, I said Richie Rich. I meant Dennis the Menace. So I've got a lot of Dennis the Menace here. And then this is some old Gold Key stuff in here. So all of these boxes here are going to go away. Probably the Golden Age stuff. I might leave DC and Marvel Golden Age stuff. Let me get this back where it goes here, guys. All right, there, soft landing. Okay, you're safe on Earth again. Sorry about that. Hey, Slim Comics is in here. Nice to see you, Slim. Thanks for joining us. So, as I was sharing with the fellas, the Great Reset has begun, and we're emptying things out of this room, and you say, oh, what's going to come into this room? Well, I've got 20 something long boxes and maybe another 20 short boxes that are in that next room. And so what I did is I set Haley Quinn up with she's got a big desk, and then we've got a 6-foot plastic, like a lifetime table. We've got that set up. And she is an organizational monster. She just, no matter what you throw at her, she just sticks with it. So yesterday I threw seven random boxes at her that were just all disorganized. And I said, Haley, just alphabetize these. So she just made giant stacks, just killed it. And then I said, don't worry about alphabetizing the stacks. Get that later. So she went through 7 boxes, got them all up in stacks, and then starting with the letter A, she alphabetized, put them in a box. Letter B, alphabetized, put them in a box. So she's doing a big shuffle. Okay, so when we're done, we're going One Stop Comics Rick here. Well, when we're done, we're gonna have like 4 or 5 boxes that are A to Z, okay, lettered, not each box, but 5 boxes that go A to Z. Then, because I'm no slouch, I've been busy for a while, I have maybe about 7 or 8 other long boxes that I've already alphabetized that are individually, like this box is A to Z, this box is A to Z, this box A to Z. So once she's done, we're going to take all the A to, let's say A to F boxes. We're going to put those in her little office that we built for her, and she's going to shuffle them together. So when it's all said and done, she's going to end up with 14 boxes that are, start with the letter A and go all the way through to Z, and they're organized and lettered. Now, there is a little work for me because I'm going to have to go through, and for example, she had Marvel Tales in the letter S. Well, she wasn't thinking that, oh, that goes under M. So I'm going to have some work to do, but she's getting most of that hard work done. So in the time that she's doing that, I'm going to be emptying this room out, and eventually we're going to be golden. Hey, Stanables is in here. Nice to see you, Stanables. So it's the Great Comic Reset, and Haley is 16, so she's got school starting in August. I'm going to take a sip of my water. I told my wife this morning it tastes like I'm drinking fish tank water a little bit. I think we got to clean our filter on our refrigerator. Speaking of great resets, we are a little bit budget conscious, so we always hit reset on the refrigerator filter on the water dispenser, and normally it's fine. Like they want you to put a new one in every month, and I think that's a bunch of hooey. So what we do is every couple of months, then I'll decide, hey, that tastes like fish tank water, and then we put the new one in there. So that's what's going on with the comic books and with the great reset of the comic room. And then you say, oh, what's going to happen after that, Silver Age Dave? Well, in October, I'm getting back from CBCS 90 comic books that I'm planning to sell. And I might be doing that through this channel for people that would like to buy a book, and I might be doing some of it through eBay. I'm not a big time eBay seller, but I've sold a few books on there. I'm pretty comfortable with it, and so I'm going to be selling some books. This room, as we're going through, I'm going to be building garage sale boxes. And if you happen to be in Holy Toledo, Ohio, or the vicinity, what I'm going to do is probably next spring, I'm going to have a big comic book garage sale. I might even do it in the winter because I have a fully heated, pretty big garage. It's like 2.5 car, and I might have a winter garage sale. And I'm going to have all the stuff you would expect, like 50-cent boxes, dollar boxes, $2 boxes, $5 boxes, and then maybe some wall books. Who knows? But I might open it up, and people who want to come visit me. I think Reggie does that every now and then, and so if I have doubles or triples or quadruples on things that I don't feel I need doubles, trips, or quads on, then I'll be selling those and just thinning the collection a little that way. Hey, I see my friend Comic Mag Musings is in here. Nice to see you, Musings. Bill, great member of the community, as is everyone in here. Greatly appreciate it. So that's the other thing I want to talk about is this community. And there's good and bad. And when you watch YouTube and when you've been around, you see some highs and some lows and some frictions that happen. But for the most part, what I got to say is I've had a lovely experience. It's been beautiful. I've been wildly accepted and supported and friended, and I greatly appreciate that. What my experience is the comic community, I think, started, we might as well just say Captain Strangelove started YouTube. He probably was just in his basement, and he was so interesting, people just start filming it, and then they invented YouTube so other people could share it. But I think it started with him, and there's a lot of guys who've come and gone in this community, and who've been a part of it, and kind of built it up and propped it up. And that's the kind of thing that I've really enjoyed. I was influenced by a lot of guys, and I tried to build my own unique channel that was a little different. But at the end of the day, I think there's no such thing as new ideas. Everyone's copying a little bit here, a little bit there, and that's what makes us excellent. Hey, Funk Comics, great to see you. Funk Comics 814. So I did see something interesting though. I saw Thoro is going to stop doing auctions, and I think that I didn't catch the whole gist of it, but I think maybe YouTube is cracking down on auctions, which I think are illegal anyway. I don't think you're supposed to do auctions on YouTube, is what I heard from an LCS friend who's very active. I think you can sell whatever you want. I think you can say, hey, I want, I'm just going to grab one, Jackie Robinson here. I want $200 for this Jackie Robinson. I think you can do that fine. I don't think you're supposed to have auctions. So maybe they're cracking down on it like they did with the Copa stuff, which, by the way, I don't even do Copa warnings anymore. I don't know where my Copa stuff is. Let me grab one here. Here you go. No shirt, no shoes, no dice, no kiddos. Come back later. Okay, that's the Copa. If we still even do those, I don't know. But my point in all this is that there's always going to be evolution that happens. And in our comic community, it seemed like it went from this great free informational stuff. And I'm not going to shout out a lot of names here, but certainly Captain Strangelove Hans is just amazing. I'm still trying to get together with Hans, and I want to tiptoe through the tulips over there. I just want to smell all that old newsprint, and who knows if I'll ever get there. But I'm from Chicago, so hopefully the day comes. Another guy that, shoot, we all know, most of us love, some people don't love, and he don't care, is ETA Nick. When I decided to make videos, I wanted to help and inspire. Okay, and I wanted to have my own brand of it, so I did it my own way. But if anyone says they're not inspired in some way by ETA Nick, then they're crazy, because that guy, talk about a wealth of knowledge. In his crew of people that he ran with was great, and I don't know why. They probably all got busy and went different directions, but there's a lot of people who've contributed to this community, and I appreciate them one and all. So it's an evolution. If they allow auctions or they don't allow auctions, maybe we'll get back to that free sharing of information. As you know, I am a free channel. I'm not monetized, so the amount of money I've made off this channel is zero right there. I've had a couple of people mail me AOKs, which I just love. It's very unnecessary, but that's it. That is 100% of my profit is zero. And that's how I like it. I've always thought, as soon as I find a way to make a dollar, it becomes a business. And what I enjoy most is just being here with you guys and enjoying the community. So I'm talking all about this stuff, and I want to talk about specials, okay? And coincidentally, I've talked about running a little bit about on this channel. I obviously love running, and I'm going to continue running. I actually choose running over comics for the next few years, and I've talked about the reasoning behind that. But I think I can only talk so much about something else before I lose people's interest. And so what I'm doing is I'm starting another YouTube channel, and I want to share that with you guys. I know Stanables has talked about, sometimes I talk about exercise or getting in shape or running, and I've inspired him and some other people. That's okay. If you want to watch that stuff, the channel name that I picked out, and I have 0 subscribers right now, so it's very exciting. It is That Guy Ultra Running, and I'm thinking, like, when I started this YouTube channel, Bad Avenger is one of the guys that inspired me. Oh, look at what's happening. We got Bubs Comics in here. He's been called special for years. You are special, Bubs. You're one of the best, my man. And we've got Mark Vandervlist. so great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you leaving a comment. And you know what? The thing I do a bad job of is carrying business cards. In my personal life, I never carry business cards. I never ask anything of anyone. I figure if someone wants to do business with me, they're going to find me. And the same thing I do on YouTube is I just kind of put it out there. But Bad Avengers, one of those guys who inspired me. And back when I was watching him, he had what I call the logo guy. So I thought, well, if I'm going to make videos, I got to make myself a logo guy. So that's when I drew this. That's the little Punisher off of ASM 129. I tried to copycat that with me in the crosshairs. But what I did is I made myself a logo guy. So this isn't the final logo guy for that guy ultra running, but I did this, and I thought it was kind of cool, and I might even make myself a T-shirt or something like that, and you never know. So anyway, if you are interested in following my running exploits, you can subscribe to that guy. Let me get the thing up. That guy ultra running, and that's where I'm really going to talk more about running and those kind of things. Hello, Terry Vaughn. The summer is beautiful. It was so cold. Spring was just really cold. It stunted the growth on some of my plants. You know, gardening is another big hobby of mine. So literally just now, some of my hydrangeas are starting to bloom out. I think the cold and late frost slowed them down. But then we went straight to heat and humidity, which continues to be a problem for me in my running. Is I just really didn't have a long time to get used to heat and humidity. And now we're, you know, Northwest Ohio, it's hot and it's humid in the summer. And so now we're dealing with it. But you know what? I love everything, Terry. So summer's great. I hope everyone's summer's going well. I hope Terry's summer's going well. So anyway, that's all the running stuff I want to talk about today. Is that guy ultra running. If you want to follow along, that's it. So we're 22 minutes in. We haven't really seen any comics, and I want to change all that and talk about specials. Because in the great comic room reset that I did a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I filmed a lot of that. Let's see. And no matter how diligent you are, my memory is a problem. And so there's a lot of things that I just throw into the category of specials. Okay, and I happen to have this book that is in the Batman specials. So what happens is with Batman or with any title, I've talked about this. Sorry if it's ad nauseum, but I start with annuals, and so I'll have a section that says Batman annuals. Then I'll have Batman 1 to like, I don't know, 300, because I don't have that many early Batman books, and they certainly don't fit into regular long boxes. So that whole section is real short. I am a big believer in, let me grab a tab out of here. Hold on. Let me see if I got a good one. Hold on, guys. Oh, and go figure, I don't have a good one to share. Okay, here's a good one. These are the tabs I use, okay, which I'm not sponsored by anyone. BCW Supplies, they give me nothing. CBCS gives me nothing. Max Protection gives me nothing. They send me nothing, not even a coffee mug or a t-shirt, but I happen to love them. And so these are hard plastic dividers. When you put them in a long box, they sit lower than the lid. Sometimes they you know, there are ones that stick up. These don't stick up. And so what I'll do, so like this is Defenders Volume 1. Number 1, August of 1972 to number 152, February 1986, plus annual number 1. And then I don't even know what I did here. So I love dividers, but no matter what you do, there's going to be things like trades and one-shots, and there's going to be little mini series that are so short that if I file them alphabetically, I'll never find them again. Okay, and I'll give you for example on that. And we could go through these if you want to actually see these. I can show you these, but I was looking at one just a little bit ago that I thought, oh yeah, that's a perfect example. Now I can't find it, but that's okay. Let's see, maybe I'll find it. Here we go. Batman and Aliens. Okay, I guess I could have picked some of the books that are sitting out, but Batman and Aliens. I'm not going to put that alphabetically under Batman and Aliens, okay, because I'll never find it. And like um, some of these series, like this is Batman Book of the Dead, okay, and Elseworlds, which I love Elseworlds, but some of these books I'm just not going to find them unless I put them under specials. So if you're trying to reorganize, if you're trying to figure out like where do I start, Mr. Gerald talked about purging and reorganizing. Sometimes you need a catch-all. You know, we all need that drawer in the kitchen that every once in a while is a nightmare. You gotta go in there and just throw everything out you didn't use, but you need that junk drawer to throw everything into. So I have a section that's called Batman Specials, and it's going to include some trades and some one-shots. But you know, I showed this special. I stick the Spawn Batman; those go in there, and I happen to have over here a Batman and Punisher special. Hey, we've got Istanbul says everything has been late this year due to the temps. Now it's hotter than heck up here in northern Michigan. I love northern Michigan Standables. I used to get up there quite a bit, and my grandfather, my dad's dad, he was stationed at Camp Grayling. So I grew up in the summers. I'd go up to Grayling, Michigan, and screw around up there. I was driving real hot rodded out dune buggies when I was like 13, 14 years old. And I'd have to go on some state highways to get off to the sand dunes and get onto some of the state trails. But man, I had a fun time up there growing up. And there he is, Bat Avenger. We're just talking about Bat Avenger and the origin of the logo guy. He's the inspiration. I sure hope Bat Avenger, you still have your logo guy from years ago, because that was really cool. One of the great artists in the comic community. If you don't know that about Bat Avenger, this guy sure can draw. Just a great artist and a great human being for that matter. So thanks, Bat Avenger. Distorted Realities in here. I hate flippers, and gosh, I'll tell you, the best thing I can say about flippers is they remind me of scalpers. And I am old enough that if I wanted to go see a concert, I had to go and wait out all night outside the concert venue. And if you waited out the longest, when you got to when they opened that ticket window at 10 a.m., you got front row seats. And that changed. Okay, now it's a business today. I don't like it, but that's because I'm old and because I have my memories of yesterday's way of doing business. I don't like scalpers, and I don't like that there's flipping in comic books, but I understand completely why it's happening. And I understand why comic prices have gone crazy, because there was a lot of money we left on the table. You know, all the years we were collecting, and this includes guys that have been in the hobby only a handful of years. All the years we were collecting, we left so much money on the table. It's really unbelievable looking back how much money we left on the table. And somebody's going to figure out, if there's money on the table, someone's going to figure out how to get that money. So comic book flippers are doing something that's necessary. If you're going to be not paying attention, then someone else is going to pay attention. And I can't be mad at someone for figuring out how to make a business of selling concert tickets. I can't be mad at someone who makes a business out of selling sports cards or comic books or coins or anything else. It's capitalism is a beautiful power, And frankly, I think there were just a lot of really, really nice comic book nerds like myself, probably like a lot of the people in this community, and and we just missed it. We were just being good guys, and sometimes if we're talking about Silver Age, Bronze Hair Babe, and some of the other, there's some good girls out there, and we're just buying the things we liked, and not paying attention. And someone came along and said, "I can make how much money doing this?" And they're doing it. And really, if you think about it, the flippers aren't doing anything different than LCSs were doing. We build a relationship with the LCS owners, hopefully, but not always. And the flippers are kind of doing that. So I think it's just a common thing that happens is the world's going to catch up. The world's going to figure it out, and that's my thoughts on flipping. And frankly, I haven't sold comics, but I have sold a few comics. Okay, I haven't flipped, but I have sold a few comics. Sometimes it was to make money for tuition, and sometimes it was because I spent too much on comics, so I gotta change the direction. And I'll tell you how that worked out. Now I'm gonna extend this story after I say hi to Matt Woods, who's in here. Nice to see you, Matt Woods. Thank you so much. So the thing about flippers is, I think in the long run, you're spinning your wheels. I think in the long run, you're losing far more than you're going to gain, with a few exceptions. I'm going to take a sip of this cool glass of fish tank water. In my experience, when I look back at the books that I've sold, those books I sold, I'll tell you a couple I sold. I sold my Daredevil one for 300 and I think it was $380. It was a 4.0. It wasn't a beauty. I'd love to sit here and tell you, oh, that thing was undergraded. It was very fairly graded. It was a 4.0. No amount of pressing or cleaning was going to get that thing to a 4.1, let alone a 4.5. But I sold that thing for maybe $380. And what I had going on, I had to pay registration fee for my two oldest kids to St. Rose Catholic School here in Perrysburg, Ohio, and the registration fee was like 150 or 170 each. So I looked at my comic room. My wife said, "Why don't you just sell a comic?" I must have been griping or who knows. And I said, "Okay, I'll sell this Daredevil one." And lo and behold, 2 years later, the show comes out, and we all know what Daredevil one would be worth today. So the fact is, I flipped Daredevil one. I've flipped now if I tried to buy another copy of it. Bubs did that real successfully not all that long ago, but it's expensive to do that. So I'm gonna do a couple of things here. The thing about flipping, the other thing I did, I used to have this is the one you guys are going to send flowers and condolences. I used to have a Star Wars #1 9.8 CGC. It used to be on the wall way over there. And if you watched early videos, it was there. And then one day I decided to do my buddy a favor. Crazy Mike is a Star Wars nut, like flies across country to go to a minor league baseball game on Jersey Day to get a Chewbacca jersey that he'll bid on, and then he'll fly somewhere else to get the actor to sign it. Crazy, like a whole museum in his house of Star Wars. So I decided I'm gonna sell him that. I'll give him a fair price. I think I sold him that book for $275. And I have a few other copies of Star Wars #1, but they're not 9.8s. And trust me, the friendship is really extended out there that I wish there was a way for me to Indian give that book. And heck, I'd pay $1,000 and still be, stealing it from them. So there's no way to do it. I was going to talk about dilemmas, and that would sure be a dilemma. Like, how do you call a guy like that and say, hey, I changed my mind? You don't. It just is what it is. So the guys that flip comic books, getting back to that great question, is they have the same memory we do. And I think if they just didn't flip so many comics, they would still have some of those comics, or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe some guys make a living on it, and it just is what it is. For my money, that's just part of the hobby. Is we're going to have flippers because there's a lot of money on the table when it comes to comic books. So Virtuous Comics is in here. Perfect channel to talk about dilemmas. So let me run this dilemma by you. I'm going to show some of these Batman specials. As long as we're playing, this box is just the catch-all for Batman. Okay, the stuff that really doesn't fit anywhere else. This is a little stand that when Batman the Cult came out, it was a little cardboard stand-up that, window display or something. So I just put it in a bag of board, put it in there. Some of these things we're going to see multiple times. Free Comic Book Day is an interesting one because I used to put these into the individual title, but now what I'm doing is I'm going to file all Free Comic Book Day stuff together. And I'm going to alphabetize them and I'm going to file them together. And those might be in the independent room that's going to be back there through that wall over there because they will take up a lot of space. So I might just have separate boxes for Free Comic Book Day. And if I'm looking for an individual one, then I'll just have to go to those boxes. So Free Comic Book Day can go in there. This is a Batman Beyond, Batman versus Batman #1. This is volume 2, Batman Beyond. CBCS has my volume 1 that they are grading. I think it's a 9.8 or better. So here's my dilemma, and I'm just going to show some books that fall into the Batman specials. And some of these are trades or one-shots, but it all falls under specials. So here's my dilemma. I tell everybody that that I collect comics. Well, a local family / friends. Sometimes people are friends, sometimes they're acquaintances. So this is going to be acquaintances. The dad collected comic books when he was a kid, and then he said, I really don't care about these. He went in the military and he boxed them all up and never really cared to look at them again. That happens, okay? It happens a lot. Dark Knight Returns, that should be really somewhere else. That's, nice. There's Frank Miller. Looks like a rock and roll, 1980s album cover photo right there. Frank Miller killing it. He's cool. Probably the finest piece of comic art ever to be published in a popular edition, said Stephen King. Coincidentally, I love reading Stephen King's foreword to The Far Side. He did a foreword where he talked about Gary Larson, and it's just beautiful writing. So sums it up. That's pretty cool. So the dad never really cared about the comics after he had them, and then like a month ago, he pulled all these comic books out of, I don't know if they were in his basement or attic or a spare room. They have a really, really big house. And he just gave them to his son, who's like in 6th grade. And there's some nice stuff in there. Now, there's a lot of 90s comics. Before he went to the military, he was buying comics in the 90s. But he's got a lot of Silver Age stuff, a lot of early Bronze Age stuff. And he does happen to have some key books. He's got some early ASM. He's got some early Fantastic Four. He's got an ASM 129 that looks beautiful. And here's a 7th grader that told me he got all these comics from his dad. I was like, oh, that's great, kid. You know, go swim, go play basketball, right, with my kids. So, and what you'll notice is there's multiple copies on some of these, and these aren't even alphabetized. That's something I've always wanted to do, never quite got to it. Um, so then the kid starts riding me over comic books like in a backpack, where he'll just like stick a bunch of these books like this in a backpack, and they're getting beat up like we used to do, but they're too nice, like some Silver Age, really nice stuff. And so I couldn't quite figure out like what is going on here. And the kid has a couple of hobbies, and now he and his dad were over the other day, and we were sitting, and the dad and I were having a beer, which I haven't had many beers in a long time. Guys, I need someone to visit me in Silver Age Daveland because I am thirsty. But because I'm in training, I don't drink like I used to. I'm really like, even the Bud Lights, I'm avoiding them, trying to lose weight and be healthier for these runs. Um, so anyway, his dad was over the other day, and I said, what's going on with all these comics? I said, you know, there's quite a bit of value there, and really, I wish I didn't know you guys, because I would buy all those comic books, and I know already what I'd be paying for that collection, including the ASM 129. If someone just, you know, door knocked me and said, hey, we want to sell this, oh, we already showed that. So there's a couple copies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those together. So they're together. And so in sitting with him, it turns out it's really not even the son's favorite hobby. So he's got all these short boxes, maybe like 8 short boxes. And they're going to bring them to me. They brought them to my house a couple times, but they're going to bring them to me. And I'm gonna try to buy the whole collection. Now, what I told the son, the dad doesn't care. He said they're not mine anymore. I gave them to my son, and I want the dad involved so he knows I'm not scamming anybody. But it's really a moral and ethical dilemma here, because I've already caught myself thinking of paying a lot more. Like I don't want to pay retail. We've got a few copies of the 10-cent adventure in there. I think Superman had a 10-cent adventure too, that I've probably got a few of. Um, so, you know, it's really, I've been challenging myself that, that I want to pay a fair amount, but I don't want to overpay. This is a third print for Killing Joke. I sent in 3 minty mint copies of Killing Joke. There's another one. That's the first print. And some people, I think, are collecting all the prints. I just have the third and the first. But that's something that some people do. So I'm really challenging myself. You know, in Virtuous Comics would probably be the guy or girl with all the answers. Probably a guy though. I think 100% of my viewers are now dudes, and that's okay because I'm all dude. And I didn't date in high school. What I wanted to do was play sports. All my buddies, we just played a lot of poker, and then I had some other buddies that were comic booky people. We played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and that's how you know this channel is good for everybody, but you know, especially for the dudes, is what the math tells me. I think it says 100% of the viewers are dudes, and that's okay. So this is just an example of Batman specials. This is all the stuff that'll fall into this catch-all box, and this box sits at the end of the Batman run. Okay, so I've got like World's Finest, whatever this mini series is. I don't even remember reading most of this stuff. So we've got a whole bunch of these in there, which could be filed somewhere else. This Batman and Superman World's Finest could be filed somewhere else. But if I filed it somewhere else, I'd probably never be able to find it. So I just stick it, these happen to be together, okay? And I stick these here together, and then I know if I'm looking for something that's an oddball, then I know where to look, which is going to be right here in Batman Specials. So how about that dilemma, huh, guys? Is I don't want to overpay, and I'd rather err on the side of caution, overpaying a little, but I definitely don't want to underpay. Here we got the Raja Ghul. That's number one, and there's number two. So we're just rolling through some specials. We got Mastodon in here and Graphic Man in here. Nice to see you guys. There's another one of those Batman specials. Like I said, at some point you got to organize these things. I do a bad job with it because it's just easy for me to throw them in here. There's a Batman Family number one, and there's a Batman Family 14, and a Batman Family 18, 80 pager right there. We've got all kinds of good things in here. This is Batman Scarecrow. We've got these Untold Legends of the Batman, and I have cereal box size copies of these too, which at some point I want to get those all together. Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder, number one, and there's number three. Very disorganized, and this is and I might have, if I went through, I might have Batman Family somewhere else. That happened to me recently with another title that I'll try to think of it, where I had them in one place. Electric Company Spidey Super Stories. I had them under Spider-Man specials under A. Spider-Man's another one that it could get tricky, but I had them under A, but I also had them under maybe E for Electric Company or somewhere else. I had them in multiple places, so each time I found them, I was like, hey, wait a minute. I know I have more of these, and I couldn't quite put my hands on it. So it's the nice thing about specials is once you figure it out, then it's easier to keep it together. So Batman specials, you're going to see a lot of these in Batman Returns, Planetary Batman, and Batman. It's Joker time. This is number 3 of 3. There's just all kinds of little good things in here. Batman Bane, Dark Knight 2. I've got multiple copies going on in here. That's a really cool cover on that. I like that one. And there's going to be some better stuff. Like I did have my Batman Beyond number 1 was in here. And here's like Creature of the Night, book 1. There's Arkham Asylum. Tales of Madness is going to be in here. Isle of Men, Blackgate. Okay, that if you file this stuff the way you're supposed to file it, stuff can get lost. Here's an 80-page giant. That's a beauty right there. You have the original cover art for Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Wow, that is really good. I was telling a friend just the other day, I was hanging out talking comics with someone, and I was telling him I'm afraid of a lot of things. I'm afraid of original art because it's so awesome, and I'm afraid of statues because they're so awesome. And there's just a lot of things that you go down the rabbit hole. Spinner Rack Studios. I've been watching a lot of Spinner Rack Studios videos. If you're not subbed, great channel. And he's got all these different spinner racks. This is, what is this called? Batman Master of the Future, Augustin Barreto. On that. So, if you're not careful, you can find yourself going down. There's secret files and origins in there. You find yourself going down these rabbit holes, and they are expensive rabbit holes. There's no bailout on them. Once you've spent too much money, you got to start selling treasures. And so I have a little bit of comic book art. Here's that Batman and Aliens. I think I showed that one. I wonder if it's a three-part series. There's multiple things that are going on here. This is 1, 2, and 3 of 3. There's Batman versus Aliens 2. And then this must be Batman Aliens 1. And don't have actor boards on them. If you have to have backing boards on everything, there's Batman and Bane Demon, Bane of the Demon, I should say. And there's looks like a 4-part series, so those are in there. There's Batman Black and White. I know there's statues for Batman Black and White that are really cool. I'd love to have them. And yeah, like there's number 2, number 3, number 4. So those I've kept together. Oh, and here's the Batman Blackgate book in there. I think we looked at something else. There's Batman Book of the Dead, 1 of 2. Now I won't show everything in here. I got Batman Chronicles. Oh, here's a New 52 that normally I separate these, but this is Damian, Son of Batman by Andy Kubert. That's the New 52. It's just a 4-part miniseries. Let me see if I can show these. There's number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so those of you who know me know that I am loving Robin, the new series that came out. DC is killing it. Man, if they could make a movie. I can't really find anything Marvel that I love reading, but man, there's a lot of good choices right now at DC. So we got Zombo the Judge in here. Nice to see you, Zombo the Judge. Thank you. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody here. Looks like Virtuous has those Ra's al Ghul books. Good read. And Mark says he bought it from him in 1999 at a convention. The cover is actually an altered stat of the original art. Red Skull blown up a lot larger. Very cool. Really neat stuff. Just a whole bunch of random. But this is what you do. There's Batman Death Blow. That's a multi-part story. Then we've got like Batman Family, okay, which there's a whole bunch of these. It's an 8-parter, and so those go in here as just a mini series. You know, mini series can go in here. Batman Gates of Gotham. There you go. There you are. And just a whole bunch of other stuff. Gotham Central. Yeah, so I've avoided original art for the most part, unless it just something fell into my hands. I did have a guy I bought a comic collection from years ago that he also had an original art collection, and he let the comics go very affordably because he was out of space, but he would not work with me on the art. That he was holding his price on. And there's the Huntress series, Batman Huntress. I don't know how many books are in that. What do I got? I've got 6 of them, so maybe it's just 6, or I've misfiled them. No Man's Land is right there. Vinyl. Oh, Vinny Whitlock. Good morning. Nice to have you in here. So we're just going through some specials through Batman. There's The Return of Bruce Wayne. That's book 5 of 6. Because I was just flipping through them so fast. But you get to see that. Batman No Man's Land, Secret Files and Origins, right there. Sword of Azrael. All the stuff that just goes into the catch-all. And let's see here. let me see here. We have the Cult. That's one. Little glare on there. There's 2, 3. Hunt for the Dark Knight. I would imagine a lot of people have that. Okay. Death of Joker, Superman app on that. Let's see. Oh, Long Halloween. I thought I heard something about Long Halloween fairly recently, but Long Halloween goes in here into specials. I don't want to put it somewhere else. There's Batman the Ultimate Evil, book 1 of 2. Turning Points is going to be in there. That's a 5-part little mini series. Oh, and then we've got like Batman versus Predator. That's a 4-part series by Dark Horse. So you know what? It's Dark Horse. I talked about how everything that's not Marvel DC is leaving this room, but that is probably going to stay right here. Even though it's Dark Horse, that's okay. And it leaves a little conundrum when it comes to G.I. Joe, because most of G.I. Joe would go into the next room over, but of course a little bit of it is going to stay in here. It frees up a lot of space, and it really comes down to you got to do a system that's best for you so that you know where to find stuff, and that's always my goal, is knowing where to find stuff. And then the last ones in here are I've got 2 copies of Vengeance of Bane 2 that are in there. Those are nice books to have. And then one more copy of this one looks pretty minty, of Vengeance of Bane. I sent one copy of this into CBCS to get graded. I guess I didn't know I had a second copy, or I maybe would have sent that one in too. I've got it marked as a near mint, and it looks pretty nice. So maybe that one will go in next time. But guys, that's it. I don't know what else to talk about. We've spent an hour or so together, and I really appreciate everyone. What you probably heard about Long Halloween is that there was an animated movie released. Okay, that could have been it. Art Bikes and Comics. Nice to see you in here. Thank you, Art Bikes. And that's going to be it. That's my whole story. The Great Comic Reset is happening. It's very fun and exciting, and we're going to tear this place apart and rebuild it so it's better. I'm going to start purging a little bit and selling some things that are a little bit less important to keep. But that being said, I'm still buying this stuff. I'm still going to Walmart. I'm buying these comic packs and like Ollie's, and I heard Meijer store and Target are selling comics now. So I'm still going to do that a little bit, and I'm still speculating on comics. I'm still buying tons of Robin, the new series coming out. I bought like 50 copies of Teen Titans Academy #1, which I didn't hear good things about. I didn't even read it myself, but I have those. I just stored them away. I did buy some of these 0 points for the Fortnite code. I don't even play Fortnite, but I've got 6 kids, so someone's going to play Fortnite and get some codes. Hey, Matt, nice to see you in here. And then I did pre-order a lot of copies of Batman Urban Legends that's coming out, I think, in July. So I've got a bunch of those I'm speculating on. And that doesn't make me a flipper. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it does. I just think that, I used to spend $100 to $200 something a week at the LCS, and I was buying everything. And a lot of those comics, my daughter Haley is seeing that. I didn't even read them. I didn't even get to open them because I was so busy being a librarian. And so now what I'm doing is I'm buying comics, but I'm buying the ones that I think, hey, these are the ones I'm passionate about. These are the ones that I want to give my kids lots of copies of, or these are comics that I think a year out are gonna, rise up in value quite a bit. So, I see New World Order Comics is in here. What's up, my friend? I think that is Melody. I think that's who that is, and let me know if that's who New World Order Comics is. Biggie Shack, who was originally Melody a long time ago. Art Bikes and Comics has watched a couple channels who've said they were thinking of selling their collection, citing being overwhelmed and burnout and some other reason. Makes me sad here. Well, this is my opinion on it. A lot of people get into this hobby for the wrong reasons and at the wrong time and in the wrong economics, and it just doesn't work out. And that's not my fault or your fault or anyone else's fault. You know, back in the day, you had to go through all the work of getting on your bike and going to the LCS and having a backpack and, you know, maybe a little box or something so you could safely get the comics home if you wanted to, you know, keep them in good value. And you had to, you know, pick up a copy of it wasn't previews, but the was it Who's Who for DC, and there were other preview type things out there, comic shop in the 80s too. And if you wanted to learn about stuff, you had to do it that way. Nowadays, you just turn on the internet and there's a million channels. So I do feel a little bit responsible when someone crashes and burns. If they're watching my channel and they say, I want to do that, Silver, well, be careful, because there's a lot of things I want to do too, but I can't do them. First, I can't afford them. Second, I don't have space. Third, my life isn't necessarily positioned. You know, it didn't always look like this. All this stuff was in a cold, dark storage for years and years, and then what happens is you get to a point in life where sometimes you have to sell books. Bad Avenger talked about that, where you know, he's a big family dad like I am, and sometimes you have other life priorities. Alex Comic Quarter had a major family life priority and had to sell comics. So sometimes you're between a rock and a hard place, and you choose that better decision. And sometimes you just got going a little too fast. Okay, I've done it with other hobbies like running, where everyone wants to run. They go out the first time and they run too fast and they make themselves sick or they injure themselves. And then slowly over time you figure out the rules. So if people are getting out of the hobby because they're burned out or overwhelmed, well, they just flew a little close to the sun. That's all. And so, you know what? Hopefully you're not Perseus. Hopefully you salvage it a little bit, and the tar doesn't melt off, and you can still fly again. The hobby's going to be around for a long time, even if it becomes a little more expensive later. It's all relative to other things. You know, you just have to decide what you want to focus on and choose the smartest and best path, and then make the most of it. Okay, and if you think that the only way to collect comics is to collect key issues or expensive issues, and I'm going to tell you, I think you're crazy. You're looking at it wrong, because look at this book. This is Tomahawk number 82. All right, and I'll tell you what my notes say on the back of this. Nothing. This is not a key issue, but who would not want to have that book? This is just sitting up here on a rack behind some other stuff, but who would not want to have that book in their collection? And I'll tell you what, you can look at anything Tomahawk from issue number 50 to issue number 100, and they're all going to be beautiful and glorious. So if you want to buy an early big key issue and spend all your money that way, then yeah, you're going to have a small comic collection, and you can say, oh, look at this cool key issue. I've always felt I'd rather have a whole lot of these cool issues that are just sitting around that, you know, the most people don't want. Here's a beat up copy of Justice League number 40. Okay, why is that up here? No reason other than that is fun. I love looking at it, and it's got all kinds of spine wear. It's got some kind of stain at the bottom, but that is cool looking. I love having stuff like that. So people who've crashed and burned and lost that love and feeling, right? To quote the movie, people who've crashed and burned, you just decide, find a different hobby. You're probably going to crash and burn there. what you got to change is your own behavior, and you got to find the joy that you can afford. And there's plenty of it. There's plenty of guys out there that have this kind of stuff. This is June of 1961, number 45. Okay, House of Secrets. Very affordable stuff. There's no key on here. Just another great cover, right? Another great story to read. Kid friendly, fun, smells awesome when you open the plastic up. And I guess I'll finish on that, guys. Let's see here. Hey, Jim Bowers is in here. Thank you, Jim Bowers. I think you do need to figure out what you want and focus on that. Try and collect everything like Dave will burn you out. Yeah, and you'll run out of space. You do have to be careful. But that's my whole point is I didn't collect like this when I was, 12 years old. I didn't collect like this. I stopped collecting when I graduated high school in 1986, and I didn't collect again until I owned a business. And that was like, I don't know, 2000, 2001, and I started collecting things that a little bit of stuff I missed out on when I was younger, but I had a budget, a little bit of a budget, and it's ebbed and flowed, over time. So you figure out where you want to be and how you want it to look. Knights Old, perfect comment in there. I'd rather have 5 awesome keys over 5 long boxes any day, but I appreciate it both ways. And that's what it's all about. Everybody should listen to themselves. Don't listen to Silver Age Dave, because you would all be going crazy. You'd pull your hair out and say, who is this nut job telling me to collect like this? But if you can hear the passion in my voice, this is what I love doing. I love looking at stuff that are pieces of comic books that were trash beyond recognition, and then I could save a piece of them. I love having things around me that are nostalgic and cool to me. And I'm not collecting them for you. No offense, no disrespect, but all the stuff in here is because I love it. And that's what you have to find, is the love that you have. Yeah, you're right, Jim Bowers. When you're out hunting and there's a good deal, it's hard to pass on. So I'm going to see how it works out. I've got a lot of comics in here that I own for less than 5 cents. And when I start having garage sales and I start selling comics and I start paying attention, I still think that it works out to the positive, because I've always bought right. That's the other thing, is if you want to go out and buy top dollar stuff, it's going to be not exciting on the other end. But if you're buying them right, this hobby, we have fortunately been able to buy right for a long time, then it works out for you. We each have reasons for staying, leaving, or just taking a break, says Art Bikes. There you go. It depends on what's going on in our lives. And guys, I'm going to end it there. What a fun chat. Thanks for spending an hour with me. And what I'm doing is I'm going to check in on Haley. She's in the next room, alphabetizing like a madman. She's just doing great work. By the end of this summer, I'm going to know exactly what I have. And I might have her do like a CLZ app or whatever the good app they have. I might have her start loading stuff in once she's done with the big overhaul stuff. But that's my life. That's what's going on for me. And as always, I wish the best for all of you. Hey, Alex, the comic hoarder. He's running and listening. The fastest man in the comic community. That's how he gets those deals. He's so fast. He doesn't even drive to pawn shops and LCSs. He just probably runs. It saves him the time of opening and closing the car door. He's faster if he runs. Oh, how about Longbox Love Affair killing it at the estate sales and the antique malls? OMG. I think I need to relocate. If I could pick up and go, I would move in next door to that guy and I would start hunting, because, man, he's killing it. If you haven't seen Longbox's estate sale hauls 1 and 2, you are missing out. That's it, guys. I wish you all the best, okay? The sun is shining, even if it's hot, even if it's humid. The sun is on you. That is God saying it's a great day. So go out there, put a smile on your face. You will change the world. If not for someone else, for yourself. And know that I'm thinking of you. You guys mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you spending time with me today. You guys be awesome. Silver Age Dave is out.